Hello, hi, my name is Zoe. I'm the Tipsy Psychic. Today we are going to talk about the compatibility between a Sagittarius and an Aries Taurus cusp. This couple works when it is focused. Eye on the prize, baby. Without this focus, it's very difficult to vibe with each other. Like, if you're both in it to just meander and just enjoy the moment, yeah, this is not for you. This is not that kind of relationship, okay? There is a focus here. It's not a, let's just see where this goes relationship. No. Basically, you thrive on guiding each other. You're like each other's compass. Without that, you are not going to get along very well at all. This can be an exhilarating relationship, okay? So if I'm kind of turning you off with the no living in the moment thing, just know that this can be exciting, this can be exhilarating. It's got some kinks you gotta work through for sure. One of those kinks is that it can take a lot for you both to truly trust each other and develop that trust. And trust is pretty important if you ask me. You might feel like you have to put your guard up when you first meet. But the thing is, you both enjoy a good challenge, and you both actually might enjoy the obstacles that are thrown your way here. Bring it on. You both need your independence to survive this. And things do have to be equal and in sync, because without that, you don't have the solidity that you need. Like I said, you're compasses for each other. Rejection is much more common when you meet each other in the wild. Rawr. Rejection is much more common than acceptance when you meet that way. Like when you meet without, rules or without expectations, like without direction. If you just kind of run into each other in real life and meet, it's very likely that one of you will reject the other, okay? It's very likely for you to experience rejection. It's not one of those matches that makes sense sometimes. Like, it just, sometimes you have to kind of, strings have to be pulled in order for you both to come together. And I'm gonna explain that a little more throughout the video. It's just the way of things, okay? So your approach to dating a Sagittarius is going to be a big deal. It's gonna play a huge role in whether this works out or not. If you just walk up to them in a bar and say, hey, I think you're my soulmate, or you have the intention of just meeting your soulmate, it's just gonna backfire, okay? It's very unlikely that things will just work and be compatible, okay? So your approach is everything. You see, you both have this natural skepticism that in a way, it's like a protection for your heart. You're protecting your heart by remaining skeptical, by not just believing everything or everyone. Oh my God, my boobs are coming out. So you might have to get creative and meet under the right circumstances. In fact, when you first meet, you might even repel each other slightly. Like, you might even maybe rub each other a little bit the wrong way. Like, you're not sure about them. You go back to your friends and they're like, oh, how'd it go? And they're like, I don't know, Like, there's this sense of, is it a thing? Is it gonna work? Did it go well? Was that rejection or was something there? Sometimes there's this little confusion going on. And a lot of that has to do with your approach. So remember that. So one of you is usually much more of the alpha. And remember, you're the cusp of power. They are Sagittarius, which is also a very fiery energy. And yeah. In fact, this matchup is known to deal with a lot of power struggles, a lot of tug of war when it comes to power. So yeah, Aries, Taurus, the cusp of power, Sagittarius, the adventurer, who wants to take the lead on quests. You both want to be the boss, and this can cause some challenges. And like I said, you work better when you're equal and in sync and there's harmony. We have two dominant personalities. Can they find harmony and balance? So here's a tip. If you want to find that balance, that harmony, and that equilibrium, you're going to need to divide and conquer. Instead of just trying to conquer everything and kind of override each other, you kind of delegate your responsibilities, okay? So I'm really big on this, like, you don't have to share all the responsibilities, but you have different roles and you oversee different things in your relationship. So you need to put your feelings aside and treat your relationship objectively. One person can't hog all the important tasks. You have to be allies and equals. You know, you're on the same team, remember that. Because in so many ways, you have just met your match, okay? Like, so many ways, you're so perfect because you're so similar in your energy. You know, there's like this energetic match here, and it's just about kind of making it work and approaching things the right way. You also have to see the bright side. You can't be so negative if you want this to work. Like, your attitude can really make or break this relationship. So if you want this to be successful, you need to stop wallowing or whatever you're doing. You need to start seeing the silver lining in the, you know, situation you're in, and just like stop focusing on the bad. Sometimes it's easy to just like dwell on what's not working or why things aren't working. So if you're in this relationship and things are just feeling shitty, maybe you're focused so much on the shittiness, you know, like everything has good and bad. Relationships take hard work, and the thing is, you're gonna really need to just focus your energy more and stay sunny. And there's nothing wrong with some healthy competition, okay? Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but you know, don't take it too far. Don't get carried away. Some couples really thrive off of a challenge, and that could really turn you on. Like, you could definitely be that kind of couple that just like, you're like, bring it on. Like, I want more obstacles. The more we get through, the more we become stronger, the more we unite and bond, and the more I feel closer to you because we've been through so much together. Like, you might even have that talk as time goes on, like, wow, we've been through so much together, you know? So definitely roll with that, but don't get too carried away. A Sagittarius would spice up your life like the Spice Girls. Spice up your life. That's like the only lyric I know of that song. I need to like listen to it now. They are a passionate partner for you. This could be a whirlwind romance that might even remind you of a romantic comedy. It's like you're in your own romantic comedy almost. You both are the stars. It can feel like a movie for real. Another major challenge to be aware of is that you often just are not on the same page. Your situations are often just not aligned. You could meet a Sagittarius when you're at a very different place in your life, and your wants and your needs may not meld very well. So a lot of it could have to do with timing, fate, and I know that sucks to hear, but if you are kind of struggling and you're wondering like, why isn't this working? Because there's something energetic that just makes sense. There is this problem where you might just be at a different place in your life, a different stage in your life, and your Sagittarius isn't there yet, or they're ahead of you, and it's just kind of like there are things that just aren't able to click. That's not something you have very much control over. And it could just be like you are water, they are oil, and you just can't mesh. You can't go together. Those two things don't really go together, you know? No matter how hard you want to. You both are highly opinionated. You have thoughts. You always have thoughts about things, and often they clash. And the only way you're ever gonna really be able to get through that is if you just can forgive and forget. Can you just like let it go, let it slide, move on? Do you have to agree on everything? Can you just accept things as they are? Because that's the only way, okay? That is the only way. If you can do that, then you can do anything together. Anything. The other good thing is that your fights don't usually last very long. You get over your differences pretty quickly most of the time, and you don't dwell. This keeps you going more smoothly. Still, marriage can be very difficult for this matchup, okay? It's like you both just want to take the reins, and you may feel like you just need someone else to make the decision for you. In a way, you might need a third party to kind of take the lead. Like you might have to seek someone else to help you make decisions as a couple, which is interesting. And so if you're in a polyamorous relationship, you might find that this is a more passive relationship, I guess. So you would have a partner who is more assertive, more somebody who might help make the decisions, and that might actually be very good for you. So that kind of dynamic might actually really work. So if you're in a polyamorous relationship or you kind of want to incorporate another person, relying on another person energetically to take the reins allows you both to kind of just focus on each other as well. You know, obviously you got to focus on everybody, but you know. So, you know, relationships come in all shapes and sizes and forms, and, you know, I'm all for it. And if you're in this match, I definitely advise exploring polyamory. Yeah, so like leaning on another partner to be in charge might help. Now, I'm not telling you to just give up, and I'm not saying it can't work. It's not a natural pairing. But part of the reason this relationship tends not to work out in the long run is that you both kind of give up. And when things get hard, you see it as hopeless or difficult, or just like you kind of get lost in the darkness of it, and it's really hard for you to see the light at the end of the tunnel when things get really difficult and dark. And honestly, that mentality will only make things harder for you. That's why I'm like, you gotta focus on the sunshine and the positivity and the good in order to get through this, because you can't just give up. And if a lot of you are watching this and you're like, well, I was just in this relationship and it sucked, you also gotta ask yourself, like, how much, where was your head? You know, like your headspace. Like, were you really focused on the negative and you kind of came to terms with the fact that it wasn't going to work early on? Like, just kind of think about that a little bit and learn from it. I'm not saying, you know, it was a mistake, you know, but I am saying it's good to think about these things and reflect on them. This boob just like won't stay in this dress. Oh my God. So sorry. You both also need to be less aggressive and kind of tone down the arguments in order for this to last. Your Sagittarius might be extremely grouchy sometimes and then extremely chill other times. It depends, and you're going to have to decide how you will respond to it. You know, you can't control another person. You can control how you react. You can control how you respond, and so you're gonna have to decide how you are going to respond to their extremes. Sagittarius is like a firecracker, and you're like a furnace, okay? Like I said, you both have this kind of heat. You're both fiery in your own way. There's a Taurus energy within you that is very fixed, right? And so for them, it's more like they're like just fizzing, you know, and, you know, like crackling and like whatever firecrackers do, okay? And they're this bright fuse, right? I'm doing a terrible job at explaining what firecrackers do, but there's this energy, right? This energy of one person is kind of like this firecracker, and the other person is like this like furnace, this heat, right? This just like this, you kind of like want, I'm acting like you want to vomit heat, but it's more like volcano for you, right? Like there's this kind of like intensity that heats up in your core, and they're just like sputtering and stuff. Okay, you need to heat up as a furnace, okay? You need it. That's your job, okay? So you like it. You like the heat. You like the heat here. The part where you kind of get into the flow of things, and you don't mind slowly kind of turning things up and getting down to business, whatever that means. Oh my God. And the thing about Sagittarius is this firecracker energy is very different. It's like a different level than you, okay? It doesn't mean it's more or less, but it's like different. It's like they're lightning. They just want to jumpstart things. They just want to be that light that just kind of lights you up and burst into flames, right? They just want you to just like burst into flames with them. And you're like, no, I'm getting all warm and juicy. I have no idea what I'm saying right now. Think of yourself as like a stove, okay? I'm trying. You're like a stove, and they are the lighter that lights the stove, you know? Yeah. Yep. By the time you want to like get into something with them and get hot and dirty and sweaty, they're over it. They don't want to take things at your pace, okay? That's a problem. Your Sagittarius has a lot of buzzing energy, and they don't want to pick and choose when they exert it, when they exude it. And they're not on the same level energetically in that way, okay? Like I said, you're an energetic match, but when it comes to getting hot, when it comes to heat and getting all fiery, it's a little different, all right? It's a little different. You simmer, they sparkle. Both of you are passionate, but you operate differently. And the thing is, they're shiny and sparkly, and you are attracted to shiny and sparkly things. You might be the most mature driver. You got your driver's license at a really young age. You did really well on your driver's test. You're an excellent driver. You're so good at following the rules, and you never get into trouble, never get a ticket. But then they come along and they just steer you off the path. They distract you. They make you miss a turn. A Sagittarius can really dazzle you and sweep you away. You really never know what to expect. A Sagittarius will need more attention than you, most likely. You're your own powerhouse, but they might need a little bit more attention, a little more validation. They need to hear you tell them your feelings, and they might need more reassurance than you're used to. Do you love me? How about now? What about now? And now? They want you to treat them like they're the only person in the world, like they're special. And they might need to hear it, you know? You might not be that kind of person that needs to say I love you all the time for them to believe it. Like, they should know it, right? They should know based on your actions, based on you saying it and meaning it, that you shouldn't have to say it all the time, okay? But they aren't like that. They need the validation. And every couple's a little different with this. You are just big on trust, on trusting things, trusting that somebody loves you if they say they love you, like, and they need to hear it. Do you love me? And you're like, why can't you just trust that I love you? Do I really have to tell you? Do I really have to spell it out for you? You know you're sexy. You know you're beautiful. Do I really need to shower you with all the compliments? I'm sorry I forgot to praise you. I'm sorry I forgot to comment on you. But you also got to put a little effort there if you want this to work out, okay? So your feelings are valid, their feelings are valid. You just kind of got to find that middle ground, and you might have to put a little more validation, a little bit more affection and appreciation towards them. Some couples just need to communicate their feelings more outwardly, and this is one of them. You need to try to match each other's rhythm and not let timing control you. Things will flow the way they flow, but you can make an effort to be more in sync. Try to be more open towards each other and welcoming if you want this to work. You both have flaws. Get over it. Love each other anyway. Do things from a place of compassion and love, not from logic and practicality. Express your feelings, you know? Be more emotionally available. As an Aries Taurus cusp, you have spent your life trying to keep it together. You're like a volcano, you know? And you're not a dormant volcano, but you're not a volcano that is due to erupt anytime soon. You simmer and you stew for a very long time and then you explode. You just try to keep your explosions far apart from one another. It means that sometimes you can go through a lot before you actually give in to your feelings and let them completely fuel your actions. And a Sagittarius doesn't have that endurance, no. The good news is you really enjoy their energy. It's probably a turn on for you. You have needs and a Sagittarius could definitely meet those needs, especially in the beginning of the relationship. And Sagittarius is quirky. They're their own entity. They can be weird. They can get weird. They can get freaky, but they own that. They actually might seem needy sometimes because they want you to like all their quirks. They're like, why don't you just like all the weirdness, you know? They really want you to love all their eccentricities. They can actually get in their head when they first date you. They're like, what if they find out about this side of me and they don't accept it or they don't like it? What if they don't like this side of me? What if they find out how weird I am? Will they still like me? What if this is just too bizarre for them? They are beautiful, unique individuals and they just want you to embrace it. Embrace them. But insecurities can come up for them when they start dating you. So be careful with how you say things. They're emotional beings and they can take things the wrong way. If you're looking for someone super basic or someone who's gonna like make you feel normal, this is not the partner for you. But naturally, if you feel like your Sagittarius is walking all over you, then they're not going to be the person for you. As friends, you both would really like going on adventures and trying new things. I wouldn't call your friendship super deep though. This is the friend that you call when you want to go to a super cool festival, but you don't really want to like pour your heart out to them, you know? They are an exciting and spontaneous friend. You also need to be more understanding of their energy levels. It goes both ways though. Try to meet each other halfway. As friends, you might find yourself getting into very intellectual, deep conversations that can really change your point of view. They have a very unique perspective. Things can be very passionate and fiery. It's hot. Love triangles are not uncommon for this couple. Like I said, there's that kind of third party that could get involved that could really help. But it's also not uncommon for you to be dating and there's also like some sort of love triangle going on. It's actually really easy for you to fall in love with them when one of you is already married or in a relationship with someone else. And this can create some drama, of course, but it can also create excitement. And it also really depends on how well one of you can handle the other person. However, in most cases, it's very difficult to be in a long-term relationship with a Sagittarius. They can get on your nerves, okay? And things can just become a lot. While there is definitely a spark and there's like this sexual attraction, it may not be emotional enough for you. You may need someone who is more giving to you. And it just may not be enough for you in the long run. But things are never boring with a Sagittarius. They keep you guessing. Marriages are really tricky here, but it also depends on where you're at in your life. Like I said, timing is a big thing and you're at different stages a lot of the time. So that can really play a part in marriage. And so if you do happen to meet at the right stage, yeah, fireworks can go off like it's beautiful. Somebody's calling me, but I'm going to pretend like they are not there because I am on a roll right now. Oh shit, I do have to answer the phone. I've been meaning to get that call. Shit. Okay. Aries Tauruses have this very strong grounding energy for a Sagittarius. And it can actually make a Sagittarius feel very secure and safe, and it's beautiful. They need someone who is a rock for them, and you could definitely be that for them. But it will depend on your situation. And also, if you can just focus on the positive and not on what's going wrong or what's not going well, this can work out and last a lot longer. You turn each other on, but it's not because of love most of the time. You like how sexy you feel with them. It's a confidence thing. You both see each other as conquests, and it kind of just like turns you on. You both like the chase. So this reminds me of a movie called Crazy Stupid Love. I don't know if you've seen it. Let me know below if you have. I really like that movie. It's a really good movie. And there's just this energy in some of the scenes when Ryan Gosling is trying to pick up women. And he's also teaching this other guy how to, you know, be a player, like how to get laid and whatever. And there's just this energy to him that's super like confident, super like sexy, and you just see like these people swoon. And I am just getting like this kind of vibe from this relationship. But it's like if Ryan Gosling met Emma Stone and they didn't fall in love at the end. It's like that kind of just energy, okay? So it's very sexy, very hot, and I'm not just saying that because they think Ryan Gosling is attractive, okay? He's had some pretty attractive moments, yes. But it's also this energy that just kind of radiates, and it's like the chase, the hunt, you know? And I'm seeing this kind of, just this, you both just like to chase. And sometimes when you both like to chase, when there's nothing to chase, you don't want it anymore. You know, you are no longer having that thrill. And so that can be a turnoff, right? So that's the kind of vibe I'm getting, is it's kind of like this both need to kind of pursue, but then once you've kind of locked each other down, now what? You know? You both are fierce, you're powerful, and you know how to go after what you want. You need to get really comfortable talking about what you don't see eye to eye on. Like, make it a habit to voice what you don't have in common instead of pretending like you have so much in common, because pretending that things are perfect is not going to work. That doesn't mean getting all negative, okay? It means being honest with each other and truthful and just like focusing on the good, the silver lining. You both want to take charge, which can be a challenge. Like I said, there's this alpha energy, and your Sagittarius will burn you if you aren't careful. You know, they're hot and they're spicy, they're hot, they're like a firecracker. And I don't know about you, but I don't just go like holding firecrackers. It burns, okay? Like, you gotta hold it from the bottom and stuff, wave it around. You don't touch the sparks, okay? They won't burn you literally, don't worry. As parents, you can take it on together. You're the kind of people as parents who could just like take over the PTA, right? Take over the parent-teacher association or whatever it stands for. And I just see you both being kind of like this power couple. I could see you both raising tons of money for a bake sale just to like raise money for the school that your kids go to. Like, that's the kind of parents I see you being. You make a good team, and family is often everything to this couple. If you want to get married, you would really need to be more tolerant, and you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it, how much can I put up with before I erupt? How adapting and flexible am I willing to be for my Sagittarius? Because you have limits, and it will not feel good to violate your own boundaries for a Sagittarius. You can be an intimidating couple. You aren't afraid to take risks, and other couples just can't even compare, really. It's like when you call up your folks and they're like, how's it going? How's your relationship going? And you're like, oh, it's great. We just went shark diving last weekend. Or for Halloween, we created this couple's costume that we went all out as. We made it from scratch, and then we made a vlog about it. Like, you guys go all out and you do things, you do extremes, and your friends and family are like, whoa, like, how are they doing all that? You know, like, how are they like taking all these crazy risks and going on all these adventures or doing these wild things? Like, this is just one of those really fun like moments as a couple that you have. You're intense. You go all out and you don't mind putting on a show together. You are memorable. Like, people always remember you. They might talk about you when you leave the room because you make an impression, and you both have a lot to say and you aren't afraid to speak your mind, even when it creates arguments. Sometimes the Sagittarius might treat you more like a caretaker in the relationship. This is especially common if they have daddy issues or mommy issues, and they can project past traumas onto you. So you might find yourself being more of the parent. And this can happen in friendships and in relationships. It depends a lot on your attachment style and trauma and how mature you both are. It can happen at any age or any time in the relationship. You have to remember, they're not your enemy. It can be easy to make things into a contest, but you must be on the same team. Now, your sexual chemistry can be start and stop. So as time goes on, you'll feel like you're having lots of sex, and then there's like a dry spell, like a drought more like it, and then lots of sex, and then a famine. Like, you're going to have a lot of like, it comes in spurts, okay? I feel like that sounds kind of nasty, spurts. But your sex life is like red light, green light. It's like the jungle, and then it's like the desert, and then it's like the jungle, and then it's like the desert, and it's more and more sporadic the longer you are together. Hey, it can be very fulfilling at times. Sagittarius is supposed to be bold, and they like to be their own person, but in order to be with you, they might feel like they have to silence a part of themselves and not be as loud about it. And they have to decide whether they're willing to sacrifice that to make it work. This is a very interesting dynamic. You both are provocative. Look, nothing about this match is convenient. Nothing. It's super uncomfortable at times, but as friends, things can be fantastic. As long as you don't try to dive super deep and see into each other's soul, okay? It's just not that kind of connection as friends. You both are caring and supportive. You would be a very dependable and caring friend for a Sagittarius. And they would keep things stimulating. It can be a thrilling friendship. You both can get under each other's skin pretty easily. It's nice that you can count on your Sagittarius. They wouldn't really stab you in the back. They can be judgmental sometimes, but so can you. And at the end of the day, they would have your back. Even when they don't even agree with what you're doing. They're like, all right, I will protect you. I will have your back, even if I'm not totally on board with it, because I care about you, you know? So that's the vibe, that's the dynamic. Please comment below if you were born on the cusp of Aries and Taurus, or if you are a Sagittarius. I would love to hear in the comment section your story, and I want to hear it. I want to hear all of it. Did it work? Did it not work? Are you interested in each other? Is this the kind of match you're looking for? Like, I want to know. It's how I learn. I think it's really special because other people who are watching this video can also get a feel for other people's perspectives and experiences. And yeah, okay. I am ready for some food because I'm starving. Please subscribe to my channel and have a fabulous, fabulous day.